I had a contest this week on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter to see who could give me the craziest, funniest stories of times where their kids found danger where there shouldn't have been any. Because that's what kids do. They're like danger-seeking missiles. You can have your house totally childproofed, everything is safe, everything is fine, and they find that one stray rusty knife that's been in the back of the basement since, 1842. It's just what kids do. The prize for the top 3 is a copy of my new book, which comes out November 5th. It's called How to Save Your Child from Ostrich Attacks, Accidental Time Travel, and Anything Else That Might Happen on an Average Tuesday. And yes, the title is so long, I had to look at it to make sure I was actually reading it correctly. I should probably start titling my books with titles that aren't paragraphs, but that's a note for future me, because right now it's way too late. This book is at the printing presses. It's going to stores very soon, and in this particular case, 3 copies are going to be mailed directly to the winners. But I couldn't limit myself to just those 3 winners, so the last time I checked, there were well over 600 stories that had poured in across all of social media, and I decided to go ahead and just pick out 19 that I loved. I mean, I could have kept going. There were probably about 50 that were pretty awesome, but to keep this video down a little bit, we're going to go through the top 19, and the very top 3 of those will get this book in the mail. I'll be contacting the winners shortly, and hopefully this works out. We'll see. I might lose track of the numbering, and I know some of you would rather I just write out the winners and do that, but you know what? I want to acknowledge people who send in these awesome stories, and if I tried to do this in an article, it would take me like 8 hours to write, or I could do a 20-minute video in one take and be done. That's what we're going to do. Lazier is always better. I think I wrote a book about that once. Without further ado, here is number 19. This one comes to us from Shannon. Shannon was laying on her bed, minding her own business, no danger in sight, when her kid came up and tickled Shannon's foot. Shannon kicked out and broke her kid's nose. Purely instinct. I've come close to that happening before. Shannon, I get it. You're not a bad mom. You just have strong survival instincts. Good for you. Number 18 comes to us from Gwen. When her son was 3, he climbed 20 feet up a tree and refused to come down, and she had to lure him down with Oreos. I think that's awesome. 1, because trees are pretty inert on their own. There really shouldn't be any danger there unless you actively seek it out by scaling up 20 feet. 2, it's a nice reminder that kids are basically wild animals. If you need them to do something, you have to tempt them with food, with bad food. Not that there's anything bad about Oreos. It's just you probably shouldn't live on Oreos. I guess unless you want to be truly happy. Scratch everything I said, live on Oreos. That sounds awesome. Number 17. This one comes in from Tosh220. I don't know what your real name is. That's okay. I'm just going to read out your Instagram handle. She said her 16-year-old called her in tears because her vehicle fogged up and she could not get it unfogged. This was an unfolding crisis. I got some sympathy for the daughter in this story. I'll be honest, when I started driving, I could not figure out how to get those windows to unfog. If I recall correctly, my solution in the heat of the moment was to roll down the window on my Geo Prism convertible and stick my head out of it in the middle of winter at like 6 in the morning. So I'm not much better than your daughter. I'm so old, I didn't have a cell phone growing up, so I couldn't call my parents in panic. Instead, I just risked my life with my head out the window like some kind of dog. I am super awesome. Number 16 comes to us from Monica. She said her son does all sorts of risky stuff with mountain bikes and skiing and all of that, and he's fine, never been hurt. But one day in Spanish class, he bent down under his desk to pick up a pencil and tried to pick up his head, and he got a concussion right there. Now, it was the final. One has to wonder, was this a legit concussion? It's hard to test for those. Maybe that was a good time for him to get out and get a little bit extra study time. I don't know. I love the idea of living a risky life and then destroying yourself with a completely inert object. In fact, my book has a section about furniture coming to life, like in Beauty and the Beast. What happens if you have to fight your own couch? I did not include school desks in that, and this school desk wasn't even alive. I mean, the threats are real. Number 15. This one comes to us from Susan. She said they got a new super powerful treadmill in their basement, and they heard a weird sound coming from in there. They went to check on the kid, and sure enough, the kid is in there with the treadmill up at a 45-degree angle on a skateboard, having the time of their life. Mom calls out, kid gets startled, kid goes flying against the wall. A trip to the ER ensues. Again, treadmill on its own shouldn't be that dangerous, except if, you haven't run for a while like me. I guess I might get a heart attack on it. But really, for a kid, it shouldn't pose any risk at all. Yet there it is, finding danger where there is none. Making mom proud. Number 14. This one comes to us from another Shannon. At least I hope it's another Shannon. Maybe I just keep giving Shannon all the credit. Said that they took their daughter in for shots when she was a toddler. And when the nurse would stick the shot in, the toddler grabbed it and ripped it out and threatened the nurses with it. Like, I'll be honest, that's not even danger for the kids. That's danger for the adults around them. That is incredible. Those are super Hulk powers. And I commend your daughter. My favorite part of this story is they had to go find a new doctor because none of the nurses at that practice would treat their kid anymore. My kids have been pretty awful in a lot of places, but they've never been banned from a doctor's office. So Shannon, you should be proud. You have possibly a superhero on your hands. Or maybe a supervillain. Keep an eye on them. Number 13 comes to us from Lisa. She said, her husband and her daughter were out at an outdoor gardening center, and there were these huge stone circles that were like statement pieces to decorate your yard, maybe like a flower planter type thing, just massive, massive stone things up on their end. And as her daughter was standing there, one of these 1-ton stone circles fell over, and it landed all the way around her. She was in the donut hole, standing up, completely unharmed. Almost gave dad a heart attack. Kid just kept on going. Children are invincible, mostly. Number 12 comes to us from Jessica. This one is just pure awesome. Her 10-year-old got into Jessica's purse and accidentally sprayed the pepper spray. Just a little bit. No harm, no foul. Nobody had it in their eyes. Nobody was running around crying and screaming. Nobody's incapacitated. Dodged a bullet, right? Wrong, because then the 10-year-old picked her nose. Your imagination can take it from there. It did not end well for the kid. There was a huge subset of stuff in these submissions about things sent in about going up the nose. There was so much stuff that went up the nose. My favorite was, I think, a piece of cardboard somebody stuck up there and it started to mold. I think there was a crayon that went up the nose. My own sister stuck a rock up her nose one time. I mean, just the things you would not think to stick up your nose that go up there anyway. But pepper spray. Pepper spray is honestly not one that I would have expected in the submissions in a million years, yet there it is. The creativity of kids to almost hurt themselves and almost kill themselves with it is just boundless. Yeah, I shouldn't say almost hurt themselves, because they definitely hurt themselves all the time. They just survive, because otherwise we would be extinct as a species. Number 11 comes to us from Essentially Lavina. She lives up in Alaska. She and her 5-year-old and her 2-year-old were on their porch minding their own business when the toddler said, "Hey, look, a bear." Kids say weird things. She ignored it. That's understandable. She keeps arguing with her 5-year-old about something else, and then she finally looks up and, hey, there is literally a bear in their front yard that they're with 2 cubs, mind you, when they are at their most dangerous, and her toddler wanders off towards the bear. So mom grabs both kids and pulls them inside. Believe it or not, there is a bear section in this book. It is the very first animal I discuss. There's one right over my shoulder. I am kind of partial to bears, so I had to include that one. What can I say? I am easily manipulated. Number 10 comes to us from Amanda. This one is amazing. Her daughter hid in the washing machine. Not only did she hide in the washing machine during hide and seek, all over the outside of the washing machine, in marker, she wrote, "Not a hiding spot." That kid is going places, and those places are mostly just inside washing machines. Like, she could make a career out of that. Make sure she doesn't grow. Tell her not to eat her vegetables. Promising future. Very clean. This one comes to us from Sophie, a bit of a confession about her own life. She says that she was in a Burger King when she was 7 years old, and she wanted to show off how flexible she was, so she sat on that dirty Burger King floor and stuck her leg behind her head. Pretty amazing. But she was between 2 of those stools that are bolted to the ground, and with her leg back behind her head, she couldn't get her leg down and she couldn't get out. She was stuck in this Burger King on the floor. Somebody had to come out and unbolt one of those stools to get her out. Like, if I had been in that position, first of all, I would die just getting my leg behind my head. But if I had to leave it there, you'd have to amputate one leg and probably the other leg for symmetry. So props to 7-year-olds for basically being Gumby and surviving that. Truly remarkable. What a scene, though. I wonder how long it was before they went back to Burger King. Number 8 comes to us from Aloha Mega, and I think this could happen to any of us. She was changing her child's diaper on a changing table, and the kid rolled off. Okay, that happens to us all. I think every single child I've ever had has rolled off my parents' bed. It's the highest bed I've ever seen. We always set them down there thinking, oh, they can't roll yet, they'll be safe. And that day, that very day, is always the day they learn to roll. So yeah, I've had some experiences with falling children. What I haven't had is something like this happen, because that child rolled off and landed headfirst in the diaper pail. Like swoosh, dead on, bullseye. But the kid didn't go all the way in because, the opening's narrow. So the head went down in the diaper pail with the arms and legs flailing in the air. Like, I am so sad there wasn't a picture with this submission. But, I think Loa Mega is probably a good mom and thought, hey, maybe I should save my child from this diaper pail before pursuing social media glory, which is why me and her are very different people. So I'll just have to live with this imagined image in my head of the kid in the diaper pail kicking and flailing. Nobody was hurt. The kid lived. It's all good. We can laugh about it now until that child ends up in therapy. Number 7 did stop to take pictures, and I am immensely grateful, and so will be the rest of the internet, or at least the tiny corner of it that will ever bother to watch any video I make. This one comes from Margie, and she says that she looked away for a second from her 4-year-old, and in that second, her 4-year-old climbed up a huge backstop at a baseball game, climbed all the way up it, which kind of boggles my mind because those things are huge and seem unscalable for anybody but, I guess, a small spider child. And then once he climbed up there, he couldn't get down. He proceeded to pee his pants from the top of the backstop. As you can see, this is not a small backstop. This kid was going places, mostly up and then not back down. She doesn't say how the child got down. Maybe another parent climbed up there to get it. Maybe they sent a squad of rescue toddlers. Who knows? I'm impressed. Really, that backstop's there to keep you safe. Like, that's the whole point, to stop baseballs, to stop flying bats. This child found a way to make it dangerous. Good for that kid. Number 6 comes to us from Crystal Lee Morgan. She says that at her grandma's house, there was a clothes chute, and her little brother went into the clothes chute, actually fell all the way down through the clothes chute to the basement where the clothes chute was locked closed. He fell down and got stuck in the clothing chute. I'm not going to lie. Every time I see a clothing chute in a house, it makes me super nervous, and I am way too big to fit in one. I always wonder, don't kids ever fall down those? Well, true story, they do. Now we know. And I don't know. I imagine that was probably a one-time mistake. I doubt that kid fell down there more than once. But hey, there's a running child. They survived just fine, and now they know firsthand how laundry feels. They should team up with that kid who hid in the washing machine. What a team they would make. Man, we are setting up marriages today. This is awesome. We are into the top 5. This is getting good. This is where we start racking up the real damage. This one comes to us from Ange, and she says that her kid got on, and this child, by the way, is 2 years old, got on a golf cart and ran it into their camper, smashed into the side, caused $3,000 worth of damage, escaped completely unharmed, because that's just what kids do. It's their superpower. Best part, it broke off some kind of hydraulic part or an arm on an awning, and it sprang down and broke her husband's nose. So almost took out dad, did take out the camper, took out the golf cart, did not harm the child. That's kid 101 right there. How do you even guard against that? What are they going to do? They're going to start putting like large rocks around their camper in case a child steals a vehicle and tries to ram it, like Grand Theft Auto style? I don't know. There are no solutions here. I'm just here to highlight problems because they're hilarious, but only when they don't happen to me. Number 4 comes to us from Stephanie. She said that right before she had to leave for school pickup, her toddler, who was potty training at the time, stuck their head inside a potty seat and got it stuck. Yeah, they got it stuck. So they had to get metal cutters and slice through this plastic seat so they could leave to pick up the other child from school. We have gone through many potty seats, training 4 daughters, and I think I've had to tell more than one not to stick their head down there. I don't know what it is with kids and places the urine goes and sticking their heads in it. It's a miracle all children have not died from the plague. It really is. That means we are to our top 3. These are the ones who win a copy of this book. I don't know if they're going to be happy about that or extremely disappointed, but it is coming to them, signed by me. And if you're not one of the top 3 winners, remember, this is going to be in stores so soon. November 5th for most people. If you order it from certain online retailers, it might come even sooner. So here are the 3 winners. The first one is from Carly. She says that he got his head stuck in a desk at school. Okay, and we've had lots and lots and lots of kids getting stuck in things. I mean, that was probably the most common theme after having stuff stuck up your nose in all of these submissions. What makes this one special is they had to call out the fire department to cut him out. And now the principal has this picture hanging in her office for all time, showing off the chair that ate a kid. Like I'm all about the lasting impact of this right here. And just having your child's incident framed in the principal's office, I mean, that's got to be Hall of Fame material right there. So Carly, enjoy your book. It will be on the way shortly. Number 2, our second place and another book winner. This one comes to us from Elfie Girl 38, and this is an epic story. A child is in their car seat, buckled in, safe and secure, no possible way they can hurt themselves. Well, they go and they wrap something around their finger. Let's see here. It is a... She had a stuffed dog. That's what it was. She had a stuffed dog. She got the collar off and she wrapped it around her finger, and her finger turned blue. Mom tried to get this collar off and she couldn't. It was wrapped so tightly that she couldn't get it off. Mom is alone with the kid. They think she's going to lose the finger. She frantically looks around for the nearest place that she can find where there might be somebody to help, and she finds a strip club. She grabs her child and rushes into the strip club lobby, asking anyone to help. And somebody there gets out something sharp and cuts it off, and the finger is saved. Like this is all started with a stuffed animal dog. Like in a car seat, how much safer can you get? And it ends with her rushing into a strip club to save a finger. I mean, if that's not just classic parenting, I don't know what it is. And man, imagine if she had lost that finger. What kind of a story would that kid had to have told for the rest of their life? But it didn't come to that. Instead, we got an even better story and a free book. So I will get that in the mail to you shortly as well. And now our grand winner. Here we are, number 1, the top situation where a kid found danger that there was none. This one comes to us from Stacy Davis. And this is a doozy. So her little brother is at the top of like a terraced hill in one of those Little Tikes Cozy Coops cars. I mean, they don't go very fast. I mean, unless you take it out the road, there's really no danger there. But somehow the kid scoots forward towards the terraced hillside, with walls that drop down. And this kid goes over one of those walls. One of those stone walls goes, and the car just starts spinning and spinning. This kid is terrified. This kid is screaming. And the Cozy Coupe rolls down the first wall, and it goes across the hill, and it rolls down the second wall, and it goes all the way down to the end, and it lands on its wheels upright with the kid still in there, despite there not being a seatbelt. There's no airbags. There's no safety features of any kind. This kid rolls all the way down the hill and survives unharmed. But here's what really set this one apart. This is why this one won, because there was no picture. So Stacy took the time to draw this diagram. So we knew exactly what it looked like when a Cozy Coupe went down the hill, spinning like mad. That is dedication. I might have to make it mandatory in the future. I want a diagram of how everybody's kids got hurt or not hurt and miraculously walked out uninjured. Especially the diaper pail one. I think I really need a step-by-step one on a kid getting wedged in a diaper pail. Well, thank you all for submitting. Those hundreds and hundreds of submissions were a joy to read. And it seems like some of you don't even need my books. You're so good at keeping your kids alive. But for those of you who want to touch up, again, this book is going to be in stores very soon. It's just like this video, except the dangers are even more out there. Like nobody sent in a message to me about ostrich attacks, but I got you covered. I got every weird situation you can think of. It's coming to stores very soon. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.